Tonight's episode of From the House of the Holy is brought to you by one of Stirling Football Club's major sponsors, Richardson Strata Management Services, a family company who have been specialists in the supply of strata management services for over 30 years. Enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome to yet another Stirling Saints Football Club podcast from the House of the Holy. Your insider look into the players and people who make our humble sporting club. I am your host, Damon Eaton, and with me is my reliable co-host. Fun fact, one of his particular body parts can be best described as prehensile. It's a good big evening to you, Mr. Daniel Tilby. Tills, how you going?
Yeah, good day, mate. Thanks for the intro.
No worries. Do you know what prehensile means, Tills?
No idea, mate.
Let me give you a hint. An elephant's trunk is prehensile, my friend.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, it's got control, it moves around and can pick up peanuts. That's what you can do.
Yeah, if I'm, okay, I'll just run with that, mate.
Okay, no worries.
Hey, Damo, apologies for last week not being available for you and Damo. Some interesting talking going on there.
Yeah, no problems, Tills. Yeah, I'm sorely missed when you're not part of the podcast, Tills, as we learnt last week. But yeah, we got through it. It was okay. I mean, Damo thankfully has a lot, interesting character, and a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of things we can get his opinion, pick his brain about. So, yeah,
indeed.
And no different from the guest we've got on, special guest we got on for this week, Tills. We can pick this guy's brain, and I'm sure he's a bit of a quiet on the exterior sometimes, but I'm sure there's plenty that's going on inside, and we're going to get to the bottom of it tonight. I want to say good day to Dennis Bettles. Dennis, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate.
Good. Welcome.
G'day, Dan.
Welcome to the show, Dennis.
Oh.
This is pretty much...
thanks for having me.
No problems. This sort of completes a trifecta of sorts between yourself, Corfs, and I guess... would he make the trifecta as well of younger blokes coming through? Or Matty Carlin, maybe Carlin.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
I see him every day at work anyway, so...
Yeah.
And Corf too, so... Yeah. Trying to get rid of him.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dennis, welcome aboard, mate. We're going to get straight into it, mate. We'll get straight into the football. And we're going to pick your brains because I want to hear what you have to say about this. Before we faced Willetton, our league side, we were looking at 3 wins on the trot. We're broken by the week before last with the 1 loss. And we're hoping to bounce back into the winner's circle with Willetton. Now, they were below us on the ladder. And they pretty much had us lead at every change. We were still in touch at half-time, but we went down by 50 points at the end, mate. Penny, for your thoughts, how do you think the game went? From a guy who was on the field, tell us anything about the game.
Well, I think you can just tell they just wanted it more than us. We were obviously, going through a lot of injuries,
Yeah.
And it's hard, we've got a lot of blokes, coming up from the resis, having to fill in, and it's just, they don't really have the experience, such as myself, haven't played much league, and it's hard, our fitness is, I don't think it's quite there, we only get about 10 to 15 blokes on the track, so. But
don't sell your numbers too short, Dennis. We're trying to boost it up a little bit.
Yeah. On the north side of 20, I reckon. Okay, so, all right. Well, you said you're a guy who's played Resi's footy a fair bit, and you've also, I guess over the last season a bit now, you had your league berth, I think it was 2 seasons ago, and you pretty much just shooed yourself into the league side every week from last season. Is there a definitive change in pace from the opposition and time from you getting the ball and getting rid of it? Is there still a big gap between Resis and league as far as pace?
It's a pretty big gap. When you play in Resis, you tend to you take them on and you can usually get away with it. But with the league, it's a lot more quicker. They're stronger, faster, and you're just going to get fucking taken down easy.
Yeah.
So
is that something that's that just happens for all Resi's players who are coming through there? That they
it just happens. Like, they're not used to it. Like, eventually you will. You'll get they're gonna get better at it, but that's just common. Same as like when an AFL player, obviously first year it's not as good, and then eventually works his way up.
Yeah. Well, when you go, Tills.
Sorry, Dennis. It's also a confidence thing as well. Being not a regular league player stepping into a league team, knowing that you're there for a week, maybe a couple of weeks if you really play well, and you also get limited opportunities. You've always got that pressure in your head. Oh, just don't stuff this up, and it's a lot of unwarranted pressure, I think, because a lot of guys that's come from Resis are actually really good players that just got to believe in themselves a little bit more, and I'm sure more of them can take that step.
Yeah, I think that's, you're right there.
So, Dennis, did you ever feel that pressure when you went into league? I mean, talk to us about your first game. Can you remember your league debut?
Yeah,
how did you feel?
My first league game, it was against Scarborough, I think. Back in when was the last time in B grade? 2015.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 3 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah. And pressured, don't know what to do really, and I just had to really listen to the older boys, just pretty much tell me what to do. Like, I was pretty much in the back line just playing man on man, and I think I did get touch the ball a couple of times, but then again, it's just, it was pretty nervous.
So were you given a very simple task to do when you played your league game? Like, I mean, you said you played in the back line and it was just playing on man. Was your assignment just to, I mean, were you playing in a key role against a key forward or something? Your role was make sure he doesn't get the ball?
Role. It was just really just shut down a forward, really. I think that's what Joel Edwards wanted me to do.
It wasn't necessarily about you getting possession or using the ball. It's just making sure that your player...
Nothing, just got to play my part for the role.
Okay, and from there, I mean, you're famous, infamous around our club right now for the old catchphrase, the Dennis Bettles catchphrase: "When you're good, you're good." So, when did you feel that you came to that point where you thought, "Hey, I do belong here. I'm actually a decent player, and I actually am a key player"? How long did it take for you to get to that point for that self-confidence to come into play?
I reckon. I reckon it would have been one of the first nights at the club, I reckon.
The boy is cocky.
It was after my first scratchy, we played Kalingari back in 2014, and played all right. I felt good. I got to know the boys really well, like, after the game, and it didn't take long for me to get pretty sauced. And let's just say I passed out pretty early. And,
you were tired. You spent yourself on the field. You're so tired.
I was done. And then waking up the next day, just like shit all over me. Like, the boys and what they've done. I woke up. It was pretty good. And like, I felt like I was at home.
All right, so you were sort of thinking, if they're willing to take the piss out of me and have so much fun and at my expense, then I must have been accepted to some stage, hey?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all accepted me as well.
Have you ever got a chance to get your own back? Have you ever gotten your own back to those blokes? Did you even know who they were, or was it just everyone? You just
no, I don't know. I think it was everyone, but I don't look. I just, I'm not going to get them back,
You just say, fair bump, fair call, move on. Yeah,
that's it. Bring your own whistle.
That's a genius little comment, isn't it?
Let's put that one up there. We're going to have a top 10 list of Dennis Bettles cracking comments.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, obviously the Willetton game, disappointing result, 50-point loss. We're looking to get back in the winner's circle. There were 3 milestones that occurred during this game on the weekend. You had Molly's 200th game. Congrats to Molly for that. Again, like last weekend, he played 2 games. He coached the Rezzies. Didn't really need to fill in out of necessity. Had to. And G's 100th. Fantastic for him. And also, I mean, we haven't really mentioned this enough, and we certainly probably should have made a bit more of a big deal on Saturday evening and after the game and on Thursday night. Kingsley Hunter's 100th career club coaching game. So that's awesome. Yeah. Tills, move into somewhere a little bit more quieter.
I was just having my plate back. I just finished my dinner.
There you go, no problems. Yeah, for those who are listening, Tills is actually at a... he's at the... Tills, you tell us, where are you right now?
Where am I?
Yes, where are you right now?
I'm at the Buddha and the Capsters final wind-up dinner. Just finalising our finances for the upcoming annual Melbourne trip. So, we've pretty much tidied all that away, and now the boys are getting a little bit boisterous. You can hear some stuff in the background, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, Tills, what is the link? Sorry, Dennis, I'm just going to get this through so our listeners have some sort of idea what's going on.
No. Yeah, get it all out.
We'll get to you later. So what is the tie with Buddha and the Capsters to the Stirling Football Club, Tills?
Predominantly a lot of the boys here played coach, captain. We've got Wade Tass, Anthony Pio, former coach, West Perth player, Stirling player, or Park player, Stephen Grant Johnson, Vince Trivoli, Shane Green, of course. There's a fair few.
So
and
who's who?
A couple of boys missing as well. So, yeah, it's pretty much goes to show that, playing footy together, it's a lifelong thing, and you make friendships that last beyond playing footy itself anyway.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. Thanks, Tills, for filling us in on that. Let's get back.
Thanks for having me, Damo and Dennis. Yeah. I'll tune into you guys next week. No, I'm still here, boys.
Yeah. All right, so sorry, Dennis. We'll get back to it. Look, let's move on from the Willetton game. Interesting. I'm just going to throw a couple of stats for you. After that, the loss that we had 50 points to Willetton, we're currently still sitting. I believe we're 4th on the ladder. So with the 3 wins and 2 losses we have, we're still 4th on the ladder. And interestingly, Willetton's still outside of the 5 with that. They've got 2 wins, 3 losses. They're 6th at the moment, so they're just outside the final 5. This is obviously a very, very important next game for us to really cement ourselves in the top 3, Dennis. We're against Quinn's District Bulls. Career, we've only played 2 games against them, and it's been 1 apiece. They've won 1, they've won 1. So the good thing is that they are languishing second bottom. They've had no wins for 5 games. So how does that make you feel? How do you think that's going to help us as far as our preparation for this game is going to concern, knowing that we are at that level?
Well, it's good for us that they know they haven't won, and they're obviously not really going that well. So, that gives us the confidence that we can actually go out and beat them. So,
yeah. Did we have that sort of attitude against Carlisle? Yes, that's what I was thinking. Did we have that sort of attitude against Carlisle or Willetton, where we thought, especially Carlisle, we've won 3 in a trot. We could chalk this up to 4. Do we have that air of complacency?
Oh no, they just, I don't know. We kind of came out from at the start of the game, of the Carlisle game. We were very quiet. We were flat.
Yep.
And they just pretty much used that against us, where they kicked. I can't remember what they did, but they were just mungle kicking them, and they were just going through the goals, and that really, really hurt us, And we can't really let that happen with Quinn, so we got to just pretty much voice has got to be up from the start.
You were there at Tuesday training?
Yeah, I was there at Tuesday training.
Sense of angerness, a bit of anger from the guys out on the training track, a bit of bitterness perhaps at ourselves. Was that evident at the training track, trying to make amends for the weekend? Was there any sort of that sense out there?
Yeah. There's a couple of the boys when we're just really trying to start to switch on now. I guess, we obviously, want to try to win a flag.
Yeah.
And, we're still 4th on the ladder, so we kind of want to stay up there as well. So
Yeah. Are there any people, any players, without having to give too much away? I'll let you give as much as you want to give us, but were there any players or any people from the coaching staff or anything like that who said enough's enough? Any fire and brimstone? Was there any passion in there from the change rooms that really, or is it just a case of, we'll get them next time? Was there anyone who sort of stood up and said enough's enough? Got a bit fired up about it?
Well, I don't know that fired up, but I know G is he's when he's at training, he's like switch on from the start, like really trying to be that leader. So he kind of stepped up, and there's a couple of us we're just going with emotions, I guess.
It's just your nature, Dennis, and you're not alone. You're a fairly laid back character. You've got those guys in the team that will fire up.
Yeah, I'm like I've probably had more losses at the club than wins, and I've played, I think every home and away game since I've been at the club. I'm more of a one of the off-field performers.
you are special at that, Dennis. We will touch on that soon, I'm sure.
And we're coming up to that very, very soon. In fact, let's use that as a segue, Dennis. First of all, let me just congratulate you on, give you a big pat in the back, and also to you, Tills, and a third party, Wendy. You were the originator, I said that last week with Damo, the cocktail of the round idea. Congratulations, mate. That's it's going on pretty well so far.
Yeah, no, it was a good idea, I thought, so it's working out well.
Great idea, Dennis, except for when you choose cocktails that require 7 different ingredients, mate. That just kills me. So from now on, mate, 3 ingredients or thereabouts.
Yeah. Well,
it just takes me half an hour to make one.
Damo gave me the list of the cocktails.
Hey.
Don't listen to Damo, Dennis.
Don't pass the blame on to me, buddy. Look, it was your idea. I came on board and said, this is a great idea. How can I help you promote it? And I helped you out with a list. I didn't tell you to choose that one. If you wanted to choose a Singapore sling, that was your decision.
Yeah, no, they're only just going to get harder as well. So.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I am getting better. I'm practicing during the week, so,
Tastes sensational.
Performance provides a bad outcome anyway. So I am working on my game, Dennis, just like I know all you boys are on the track.
We definitely are.
So
now, Dan, we've got a couple of numbers coming back this week.
Yes.
That buoys the spirits up. Now, I think we're not far away from getting the change rooms up and running, which will make us feel a little bit more at home, I dare say, coming out of the change rooms instead of using the make-do club rooms and the genius rooms.
Yeah.
That'll make it
good to have a shower.
It'd be great to have a shower.
How excited are you, Dennis? How excited are you? It's our change rooms, finally. I've actually had a look at them, and they look absolutely sensational. How excited are you, Dennis?
I'm very excited. I reckon Cammy Grover might even make a comeback,
Oh, jeez.
You heard it here first, the big scoop.
No, Can I ask for your source there, Dennis, or is it just all hearsay at this stage?
Oh, it's just they've got a couple of cubicles, I heard. So
okay.
He's usually showering in his jocks, so
bring a pair of speedos along.
You might actually get one for the boys.
We'll just put a little cami sign on one of them.
Yeah, we'll reserve a cubicle just for Cam Grover.
Yeah. There's actually one of the best things about the change rooms, I think, Dennis. I mean, the tiling looks absolutely magnificent, I'll say that. But there's actually a walkway now that goes, rather than going from the showers to the change room, outside, then to the front door, there's actually a perfect little tunnel that goes from the change room directly behind the canteen straight into the actual main club room, which is, I think, it's a brilliant move. It looks absolutely magnificent.
Wow.
Yeah, so
sure they've done a good job.
They have, and so we're really excited about that. Have you decided what the cocktail for the next home game will be? Because that'll be when we're going to have our, round 6 is going to be round 7, I should say, our official opening of the actual club room. So what cocktail are we going to have? Any ideas?
I haven't really thought about the actual cocktail, but I'm thinking of doing it gone with someone that actually, you know, is at the club, not a player, but someone that's done a lot of work for the club.
So, Dad, yeah, well, would one of them be speaking on the phone right now?
Yeah.
Tills, close your ears, mate.
I'm talking about Chile.
Shit, Ben.
Yeah,
you can't name one after me, mate.
Yeah.
So yelled.
I was gonna call it the Tickle Me Tilly.
Tickle me, Tilly.
I don't mind that one, eh? Yeah.
Lots of froth and a bit of a pink hue to it, I'm sure.
Make it 83 ingredients, mate. That's all I ask.
Oh,
No, screw them around, Dennis. Make it like like a Long Island iced tea where it's like about 6 different ingredients of alcohol alone, and then throw in a couple of bizarre ones
talk
like.
To the cocktail committee about it. So, it's definitely
I like it. I like it. Hey, Dan, our first official club function won't be too far away. Hot tub time machine. Yep. I'm sure the boys are fanging at the bit to get out there and shake their money maker.
yes, they are.
A bit of talk around. Are you on the social committee, or it's a Zonzi, Dennis? Is you in that little committee? I believe?
Yeah. We're trying to sort it out, but I think me and John have decided to throw a gentleman's day at our place, since it's Dave has told us that we're no longer allowed to have it at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just liquor licensing restraints. That's what we should call it.
Yeah, that's well made up on the spot, Tills. Good work. So the Gentleman's Day, I mean, that's been a tradition for a while now, Dennis. I mean, I haven't been one for about 15, 20 years now. Is it still going strong? Is it good turnouts?
Well, the last couple haven't really been that great. So, you know, I don't know why, but
let's spitball. Let's theorise.
Some of the boys, they got misses and they just they suck up to him.
Call it as you see it, then.
Well, Dennis, not all of us can stay at home and stay and play PlayStation AFL for 15 hours straight, mate. I'm sorry, mate.
But no, we are looking at throwing it here, and we're probably going to maybe do it during the long weekend.
Okay.
So
good idea.
The first week of June. So really, that could be our first kind of little function thing we'll have for the club.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually will be too. Yes. Yeah. Good work, Ben. I like it.
And just about the hot tub time machine too, Dennis. Just while we've got people listening about it. Yes, we are going to be having it at the club. It will be our first official social event at the new refurbished club rooms with the change rooms and the toilets and all that. So that's going to be really good. We are going to actually have tickets for sale for that to be announced. So keep your eyes and ears open on the usual rounds Facebook and the club website. So, and of course on the No Sport in the club rooms, you will have to buy tickets in advance. It's going to be a case of we sell 50 tickets, we're going to hold the event. If we don't have the 50 tickets paid up, then we will rethink about reimbursing those who have bought tickets and maybe going to the next social event and using it from there. So really, again, it's up to the players and up to those who are associated with the club to stir up interest, not just get themselves down there, but bring a mate or 4 down and be a part of it as well. Buy 2 or 3 tickets. I think they're going to make them $20 a ticket. So again, keep an ear out for that. Are you aware of the makeup, what the hot tub time machine's all about, Dennis?
I don't know. I guess it's just like the movie, really, isn't it?
It's based on that.
I guess you probably just be in one room, and you guys will sort it out in the other room, and so it'll be like a different year, I guess. I'm not sure.
It's the most simplest. Trust me, the most simplest way of describing it, Dennis. You've done well there. Yeah, we'll go from decade to decade, mate. So we'll start. What do you think is an appropriate decade? What decades would you like to see in there?
The decades, or I reckon I would love to see the 70s, I reckon.
70s, okay. So I was thinking about having an ascending order from an early era. For me, I mean, I could go back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But we'll probably only have about 3 destinations. I think 4 might be pushing it. So if we have 70s, what else would you throw in there? 80s, 90s?
Oh, you'd have to throw in the 90s.
Yeah. So there's...
We'll go in the 90s and then maybe do something different, like a bit more futuristic, I guess.
Oh, go to the future.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
See, Dennis, you know this stuff, mate. This is why you're a part of the social committee, mate.
That's right.
It's a very good idea. Go in the future. Holy crap. Wow, what the possibilities we could do with that, Tills?
Well, I haven't seen the movie, and I dare say you probably haven't seen the movie yourself, Dano, so maybe that's something in the movie that happens.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen the movie.
No,
not at all,
I mean, we can't credit Dennis with too much genius here. But, I'm just guessing it's probably in the movie.
Well, it's not necessarily... Well, it is sort of... The first one's still like a celebration of the 80s, but it's also, to a certain degree... but there is an actual plot to the movie, Tills, believe it or not. And it's about the characters as much as it is the era. But yeah, anyway. Now, Dennis, our very, very first guest on the podcast was your housemate, Corfs. And we got a bit of an insider look at what it's like to live with you, well, from his point of view, about what it's like to live with you. Here's a chance for you to return fire. Return fire or share some ideas. He says that you're quite an organised young man. You've got things pretty well, your wardrobe's pretty well set up and all that. Do you think that's a true assessment of yourself?
Well, I just like, my things to be like a bit neat and clean, and that's just the way I was kind of brought up. I like when you go to Corfs, or he's always got Wendy or his mum, doing his laundry and folding his clothes and shit, even though she don't live here.
That's what mums do. And I mean, a very special happy Mother's Day to those mothers out there for this weekend.
Of course, yes. Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, Tills. I don't know how Wendy feels about saying Happy Mother's Day to her, but
no, it's for all the mothers out there.
Exactly. Well, there you go. And all the mothers there, yeah, absolutely. Happy Mother's Day. Dennis? Anything you've got planned for Mother's Day?
No, not really. Haven't got anything planned. Maybe just, actually, I think I was planning on going wakeboarding on Sunday, but I actually totally forgot it was Mother's Day.
She can drive the boat.
Yeah, that's right.
But I guess I'm just going to have to make a quick stop back home, I reckon.
Yeah. Stop by. Drop off some washing.
Yeah, and usually that's all I'm a bit cheap, just a couple flowers and that's about it. And maybe a lotto ticket.
A lotto ticket,
yeah. Absolutely, mate. It's the gift that keeps on giving, Dan.
That's right.
You are a cat that walks the beat to his own drum, that's for sure.
So
don't even know what that means.
All right. Well, Dennis, look, we've sort of skated around a bit. Look, I want to get a bit of an insight. We always do this with every player. We get them to share their story of how they came down to the club. I'm always interested in hearing about the past of the player and what they were doing before they came to the club, when they started playing footy, and how they entered into our club. I find that one of the most intriguing things about this program. What is your story? What were you doing before you came to the club sports-wise? Did you play footy before you came to Stirling? And how did you come to Stirling footy?
So I'm originally from Newman, so like up north in the Pilbara.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cripes. You know that I'm up there. I'm from up there originally as well. You know that, don't you?
No.
Well, there you do.
No.
Common ground. Well, continue on. Go on, mate.
Anyway, so I was living there for 22 years, and I played a little bit of like footy and stuff like that up there, and soccer. And I moved. My parents they built a house over in Perth.
Yep.
And I decided to make the move about in 2013, middle of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I decided to get a job here after like not working for a couple of months.
Right.
And I got one at Bridgestone in Malaga.
Yep, of course. Yes.
Give him a plug, Dan. Come on.
Yep.
And with Alan and Gail.
Yep. Magnificent people.
And they they're the reason why I'm down at the club.
Because there was part of your contract of employment that you would play footy at Stirling Footy Club. Otherwise, Al was going to fire you on the spot. Is that right, Dan?
Nah, not really.
Oh, okay. That's the story he told me.
Yeah, could have ran with that, Dennis.
I'm pretty sure he told me he was going to pay my fee on the first year, but
oh wow,
he didn't really pay shit. So.
Who else was a part of the club there who was working there when you first started working there? Was who was there?
No one.
No one.
Just me. And I told him that I played a bit of footy, and I was probably looking at heading to Balladura because I was living in Balladura at the time.
Yeah.
But he got me down to come down to Stirling, and I believe Guy had a little bit of help with that as well.
Yep.
We used to had a contract for Thrifty, doing a couple of tyres and stuff for them, and
right.
I used to see Guy down at the yard, and he kind of was in my ear about coming down as well. So.
And that was enough. And what was it like when you first came in your first training, when you sort of didn't know anybody? What were you expecting?
I don't know, just trying to just meet the boys, I guess, really. I think the boy, they just told me he rocked up, just come down, and I saw a guy there, and he introduced me to Joel and Damo Lloyd, and
yep.
And I just kind of just went with the flow, and just think I trained like every training, and then just really got to know the boys.
Beautiful. So when you're talking
from there, Dan.
Yep.
Sorry?
It blossomed from there.
It has pretty much. Like, I mean, like all my mates now are pretty much associated with the club. You know, I'm living like here with John, who I met through footy.
Yep.
You know, and after I finished up with working with Al, I got Shay got me a job at Toyota. So
beauty.
So you know, I'm thankful for the club.
It's one of the major strengths. We said the same thing with Corfs as one of our strengths of our club. It's the networking of just beyond football into place of employment to I've got guys from our footy club, and my wife and I built up in Yanch. We got Eddie to do a lot of our lighting fixtures for us up there. So it's okay.
And don't forget relationships. Either day with G and Grassy.
Oh, yeah.
No, Maddie and Grassy.
Maddie and Grassy. Oh, there could be a lover's triangle there, Tills, if you threw G in the mix.
I know, he's going to kill me.
Yeah, well, it's funny because some people, believe it or not, I know at least two examples of people who meet their partners at social functions at our football club have become their wives, you know.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking a long time ago, Tills, around the Aussie Park days, but it happens. And, that's part of the pop purity of what our club is. We have guys from different walks of life, different employments, and they bring their mates down and they have fun as well, and sometimes join the club. When you said, Dennis, that most of your mates are somehow associated with the club, they're not all players. Do you have any mates who come and watch the games?
Do I watch? Nah, no mates. The only people that actually probably come down to watch was probably my dad and my nephew and my sister and that, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Your little nephew's a jet at footy, Den.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got this footy.
He's got no fear, that kid, I tell you.
Mm. What about Newman? So you said you're from up Newman, obviously. You played a little bit of footy up there. From my recollections, when I was playing, I played 2 games in the town I grew up in Shay Gap, before it closed down, and I think it was the East Pilbara League. We played against a couple of Port Hedland and South Hedland teams, but our team, the Shay Gap Hawks, we really weren't really part of. It was like social games we played here and there. Was that what it was like in Newman, or were you actually part of a league up there? Do you remember?
No, yeah, it was a national league up there. We only had 4 clubs.
Yeah.
In Newman, and there was like 4 clubs in each corner around the actual footy oval. So, you know.
Ah. So
yeah, it's actually quite convenient, but it was good. It was good, you know. And also it was a bit boring too, you know, playing the same clubs the whole time.
Mm. And you'd have the same like watering holes, so you'd be playing, and I guess I can only imagine you'd be training on the field with the opposition team. You're going to the pub with the opposition team.
Half the field with one of the teams. So you had two teams train on Monday, Wednesdays, and the other two on Tuesday, Thursdays.
Yeah, well, there you go. And then you'd be working with them, and you'd be going to the shops and catching up with blokes like that. They'll possibly be your mates. Did you have a choice of which team you wanted to go to, or is it sort of divvied up? Do you know?
No, you had a choice. Like I actually played at a club that didn't really have much success, just so I can get the opportunity to obviously play. And I had a lot of mates playing for other clubs, but I decided to join the Pioneers.
Yep.
And still no success, but it was still a good club, good fit.
No worries. G'day everyone. Just want to take a break from our program to share with you, our listeners, some quick information about our sponsor for this week's episode. As mentioned at the top of the program, Richardson Strata Management Services is a family company who have been specialists in the supply of strata management services for over 30 years. If you don't know what that is, put it this way. If you had a property you wanted to rent out, wanted to lease, or if you want to be a landlord and get some tenants in, you need to get in touch with Richardson Strata Management Services. They're the guys that take the pain out of organising all this. They do it for you. But did you know that one of its directors and accredited strata managers is a former playing great from Stirling? Played league, played reserves. That's right, Ryan Murphy. If you remember him, he played for us a few years ago, not so long ago actually. Spud to his closer friends. I know him as Ryan. So if you want effective control, determined action, reliable documentation and compliance, and you don't have the time or expertise to do it all yourself as far as landlords, you don't know where to start, you need to talk to Richardson Strata Management Services. Hit up Ryan, he'll help you out. They're one of Perth's biggest and fastest growing strata management companies, because they're experienced with a no-nonsense approach to getting things done. Their contacts, either Google it up, they've got their website there and you'll be able to find it. It's very easy to navigate, but if you like doing it on the old dog and bone, here's their phone number, 9472 1833. I'll say it again, 9472 1833. Or you can email them at reception@richardsonstrata.com.au, and they're actually found on Burswood Road in Burswood. That's 138 Burswood Road. Their pricing structure is agreed with you in advance, which is really value for money, so there's no surprises. It's done, it's agreed on, and it goes away. Richardson Strata Management Services, a company run by family for family people like you. We now return to this week's episode of From the House of the Holy. All right, Tils, should we segue? I mean, we've already done a fair bit of bull crapping already, but should we go into some... get Dennis to pick his brain and give us his feedback on some of his thoughts on some other players?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Okay. Dennis, I'll start.
Actually, before you go on there, Damo, just a quick one. Dennis, career goals, mate. You kicked one on the weekend. Is that your first?
Oh.
That was my first league goal.
Well done,
that was probably I think my third. Yeah, no, actually, my fourth goal for Stirling.
Jesus.
Nice, mate. Well, that's not bad. It's only took you, 2 years? Well, how'd you do it? I mean, you're playing the back line. Did you drift down, or were you just put in a different position? Or?
Nah, well, I'm a bit of a swingman sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And then you go up, back, up, forward, you know, Mr. Fix-It.
When there's an issue, put Dennis in there and just make it twice as bad.
Were you instructed to go there, or you just said, I'll take the initiative?
Nah, just take the initiative.
Took the initiative. All right, I'll go down there. Oh, it worked a treat, mate. You kicked a goal. Beauty. All right, well, okay, let's move on. Dennis, all right, so for a guy who's obviously known for your off-field antics and going out to clubs and pubs and so forth with some of the boys, what are some of the regular haunts that you guys go to from a guy who never goes out anymore?
Where do we usually go?
Yeah, what is a typical Saturday evening, or even off-season Friday night? What is the general schedule?
Usually it will be after probably a game, on a Saturday, you have maybe a couple of drinks at the club.
Yep.
And then we've already gone home. We've had a shower. We've got changed.
Yep.
We'll probably head out to the Mint up in Northbridge.
Right. Okay.
Which is sort of our local. We've made good mates with the bouncer now. Like, he knows if we do anything stupid, we're not going to get kicked out. So.
Oh, right. Oh, well, wow.
Important.
Yeah.
That regularly sort of know the guy who's on the shift there. All right, that's pretty good. So are you there till closing, or is it just start there or move on to anywhere else?
No, and usually if we move on, we'll probably just move on back to my house.
Yep.
Like always, and then it'll just a bit of a storm up from there.
I have no idea where the Mint is. Where is the Mint? Whereabouts in Northbridge?
That's on the corner of James and Lake Street.
Okay, visualising. Okay, all right. I'm trying
Fishing for a new sponsor there, Damon, are we?
well, maybe, perhaps till. So, geez, back in the day when we were in Northbridge, maybe Havana's was still around. That was our horn.
Absolutely.
They went from Havana's to the church to the library. Is the library still around?
Don't know, good.
Yeah. I don't know. And then, of course, there was the Elephant in the Wheelbarrow Tills, which, of course, is closed its doors. I think it was early this year.
Yeah, it's holy moly now, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Another favourite stalking ground, that's for sure, Damon.
Yeah. All right, Dennis. Now, the boys you go out with, who is the one who's who's the one who skips out on their shout all the time, or do you all pitch in?
On the shout? Oh. I don't know. I'd probably say myself, really.
You dob yourself in for the guy who sort of skips out.
There's a lot of the boys that they actually say, do you want a drink? And I'm like, oh, yeah, but every time I try to get...
comes around you then.
Yeah, I think that is me.
Okay.
Yeah, I did get the nickname the Sponge from Dobbo at one stage. I was just sponging off him the whole time.
Beautiful.
Nice. Okay. And speaking of, if I would have thought the Sponge might have been somebody who just soaks up a lot of alcohol. Who's the biggest pisshead then?
Biggest pisshead? Oh, I could say Champs was pretty big back in the day. Before he pulled his head in.
Poor bugger.
And I don't know, that's a tough one. We've all kind of started to quiet down a bit.
Yeah. Any stories of anyone overindulging, Dennis? Anything you can share that's palatable for this program?
Sorry?
Anything like any stories of blokes who've overindulged, gotten a little bit too carried away on a night out? Surely there's going to be some.
There's a couple, but I don't know if it's that if it's appropriate. But,
okay, no worries.
Probably not.
We'll leave it a mystery, Dennis. Well, what about this? Okay, what about look? You've been notorious. Another thing is you're notorious. Well, I wouldn't say notorious because I don't want to paint you in the dark a terrible light, mate. But you're not too bad out and about meeting lady friends. I'll put it that way. Is that a fair assessment?
Actually, you're breaking up there.
Yeah, what did you say there, Damo? Was it about lady friends?
Yes, I'm saying, Dennis, you're not too bad at going out and meeting new people, particularly of the female variety. Is that a fair assessment?
No, that's I don't know. It just kind of happens,
What was your original comment, Dennis? When you got it, you got it.
When you're good, you're good.
When you're good, you're good. Yeah, she got a girlfriend at the moment, Dennis, haven't you?
Actually, I don't. But...
well, there you go, Tills.
No, inappropriate.
It doesn't mean I don't have any on the go, but...
Oh, well. Wow, okay.
Yeah, we don't want to show away our female audience.
No. Yeah, I'm not really about the old relationship style. That's not really
this stage.
Well, how old are you, Dennis? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
27.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all good. Yeah. I know that I know some people are at 40 who don't even worry about getting involved in relationships. Tills?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I was born, my dad was 40, so,
There you go.
I guess
plenty of time, Dan.
I've got to follow in the footsteps, really, don't I?
Yeah,
That's right, mate.
There's a standard been set. All right, well, apart from... have you seen anyone else? I mean, we get the old photographs sometimes, the boys out and about, and obviously putting on the hard word and on the prowl. Who's the one bloke you know who's the biggest dragon slayer who just has picked up, batted well below their average? Let's put it that way.
Whoa, below the I'd have to say Rory Muller. He was, he didn't really give us two shits of who he picked up as long as he picked up. And, I think there was one time we were at Paramount, and he was talking to this girl, and next thing you know, he's there, them, kissing and macking on. And I looked over, and mate, I was thinking he's probably thinking he's shallow out right now. Because she was so good. But,
Muller special. He's pretty quick, but he just has trouble running away from ugly chicks, eh?
Yeah, it was a bit like the guy from On Road Trip when he that little guy when he gets with that girl for the first time.
Oh right, gotcha. I know. I remember. I get it. Yeah. All right. Well, continuing on with the misogynistic theme we've got here, Dennis. Let's go on to. Let's play a game. You know the rules of this. Shall we play a game of root, shoot, kill? Oh, it's not root, shoot, kill. It's root, marry, kill, isn't it? Yeah. Root, marry, kill. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
All right. Till's come up with a couple yourself. I'll kick things off. Root, marry, kill. Let's try. Oh God. All right. Let's try some Jennifers. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lopez. And what's another Jennifer? Give me another Jennifer, Tills.
Jennifer Hawkins.
Or Jennifer Hawkins. There you go. That's beautiful. Jennifer Hawkins, Jennifer Lopez, or Jennifer Lawrence. Root.
Oh, I don't know why you went Jennifer. That's my sister's name. It's a bit weird.
Hey, look, you don't come up with the rules, mate. You just play the game. What were the things? Root, marry, kill.
I'd maybe marry Jennifer Lopez, I reckon.
Jennifer Lopez, okay.
Yeah, and root Jennifer Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Jennifer Lawrence gets killed.
Lawrence. Yeah, no, she gets a bullet. I don't really rate her that well, so.
All right.
All right. Do I have to come up with one?
Well, I was hoping I was trying to buy you time Tills to think of one, but
Yeah. No, I was laughing at Dan, but yeah, okay, we'll go. What do we have? Female superheroes. Catwoman. Stress. Wonder Woman.
Sorry, Wonder Woman. Yep. Okay.
Wonder Woman, Catwoman, and Cockroach Lady.
Cockroach.
I just made that one up.
No. What about the Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow? So Black Widow.
That chick.
So Black Widow, Catwoman, and what was the other? Oh, jeez, Wonder Woman. Dennis, all yours.
Root Wonder Woman.
Right.
Okay.
Kill Catwoman. And obviously marry
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Oh, jeez. See, if you know,
I don't know where I got those from, Dan. Sorry, I must. Yeah, that's weird.
It's a bit dodgy marrying Black Widow. I mean, she is a trained assassin and she has played both sides of the law, mate. You live your life.
Yeah, well, she can look after me any day. So.
You might end up dead in the bed, mate, if you marry her.
God,
anyhow,
getting below the belt.
Yeah. All right. Should we just leave it there? We'll leave it there, okay? And that's how let's close the book on that game.
I thought this was a family show, but.
All right, where are we going next, mate?
Oh well, should we go on to the hypothetical situations, Tills. We'll wrap it up here with the three last questions. Dennis, let's see, three hypothetical situations. It's let's say it's a melee, big melee. Opposition are all on top of you. You're looking around. You got no one on your team next to you. But if you had a choice, who do you have you along by your side to help you punch out of trouble, or just to get out of trouble?
Well, I've known, like, in the past guests have always said JJ.
Yep.
So, you know, he's a big unit, and he's always loves the scruffle. So I would have to say him.
Okay. All righty then. Next hypothetical situation, grand final, siren's gone. We've got a free kick from 40 out, well, the kick's from 40 out. The kick will win the game to win the grand final after the siren. Who would you like to take the kick?
Well, after the weekend, I wouldn't mind backing myself.
Fair call, Dennis. Fair call.
So you're willing to make that leap?
Yeah, I think you'd have to go with Damo Lloyd, really. You know, he's just 250 plus goals for the club, so you can't really complain about that.
Okay.
Machine.
I'm going to put in an extended hypothetical situation. He is out with a hamstring before half time. Who else?
That's a stitch up.
That is a bit rough.
Hey, look, if he can't look after his hamstrings, geez.
I'd have to say Eddie. Eddie's a pretty good shot at goals.
Yeah. Yeah, his name's popped up a couple of times.
Might not make the distance, will he? But
but you give the old fella a go, would you, eh?
Couldn't go wrong.
All right, Dennis, one last one, mate. One last one for you. We do it every time. I mean, it's going to be a while before you retire, but let's just say you had your choice on the day that you wanted to retire and you knew it was your day. Who would you have? Which two blokes would you have you chair yourself off at the end of the game?
I guess you'd have to throw coffee in. You know, puts a roof over my head, I guess. So,
be out of the next day.
Otherwise, and the other one, well, I don't know. I'll probably have to go Matty C on that. You know.
Matty Carlin. All right. So, any particular reason why you've chosen Matty? He's not putting a roof over your head, so why choose him?
No, he's just, I don't know, he's been at the club since I've been there, and, you know, he's one of my good mates, so he loves getting around me.
Beautiful.
Love that.
All righty. All right, well, that's Dennis. We want to say thank you very much for being part of it, mate. Do you have anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to comment on or to wrap up with? Any plugs?
No, let's just fucking just go.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Tills?
Tills? Wrap up. I don't know.
Yep. Tills, anything from you?
I don't know. Who you got on in mind for the next guest?
Oh, okay. Yes. We've actually been discussing this a bit. We're going to try to get Molly because he did play his 200 games. I'm going to get him on the program. So we're going to have him lined up for next week. We also wanted to get some of the Resi's boys, so I really want to get Scotty Anderson on board. I have communicated with him, expressed that I'm interested. He's interested, so he's on the possibility list. Troy Miletus is another one.
Yeah, I was going to suggest Orlando.
Yeah, he's been a stalwart of the Resis, and we want to get some even exposure to all players from all for the club, and it's time for Resis to get a feature. Troy Miletus was another one that came up. There has been a call, and it's continued again tonight at our committee meeting, getting some older players, retired players, past players, or even past clubmen. Tony Torelli might even make a feature because we're coming up to our 20-year anniversary of the merger of Stirling, what is now Stirling from Osmond Park, Balcatta, and also 20-year anniversary of both our reserves and our leagues. In the 1 year, 1 season, winning the flag in that 1 year in the magic year of 98. Tills, you're a part of that team back then, weren't you?
Yeah, we both were, Damo, were we?
And I wasn't Tills. I was there in spirit, mate. I was running water for both sides. So,
yeah, you did have the yellow vest on, but you're as part of the team as anyone else, eh?
That's right, mate. I played all the season, didn't quite make the grand final selection. That's a totally different story.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's what we're looking at. Dennis, do you have any other suggestions?
Maybe Tony Smith.
Oh.
T. Smith. That's a good one, Dennis.
That is a good one, Dennis. That's definitely one we're going to have to put on the list. I've got it. I'm typing it in right now in the laptop. Beautiful. Okay. All right, man. Well, Dennis, thanks very much for your time, mate. Very, very appreciative of you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Tills?
Thanks, Dan. Cheers, buddy. Thanks, Damo.
No worries, Tills. Get back. Say good day to Greenie and the boys.
Big shout out to our sponsors. Really appreciate all their support and that. And boys, get around them any opportunity you can, and always let them know how grateful we are for their support.
Absolutely. We'll just rattle a couple off the tops of our heads. Of course, the Odin Tavern over at on Erindale Road is one of our major sponsors. We've mentioned before with Gail and what's the other? Alan. So Gail and Alan from Bridgestone and Malaga. Go get your tyres checked out there, guys. They're very good. Or anything else in regards that's automobile based. We've got Barbro Brothers, the best meats in if not in Perth, then certainly in the northern part of Perth. Barbro Brothers, Faber Accountants through Roo. He's a major sponsor, of course. Wade Tassif is a major sponsor through his legal Balance Legal. I think it's still called Balance Legal, are they, Tills?
And for all your construction needs, always go to 3JS.
That's right, 3JS. Thank you, Johnny Corfius, very much. And of much, all the others as well. There's a few others there. We have mentioned Richardson Strata Company through Spud. Thanks, Spud. And a few other guys, which we'll mention as the podcast continues on next week. Tills, thank you very much, mate. I'll let you get back to Greenie and the boys.
Thanks, Damo. Pleasure, mate.
No worries. And to all our other listeners, thank you very much for tuning in for yet another episode. Come down, watch the game. The game's played away this weekend against Quins. So it's a little bit north, but make sure, guys, you go there. And certainly for the round following of the home game, be a part of it. Keep your eye on the Facebook, guys. Make sure the social functions are well and truly filled with the floor of your feet. And, of course, don't be afraid to come down and help volunteer. It is your club. I've said this before. Whether you've been and played, it is your club. Your club needs you, so make sure you come down and be a part of it. So good luck to our reserves. Good luck to our league. Good luck to the Saints. And go get them this weekend, boys. We're out.